Brain Gamer is the first in the chat room. Brain Gamer 1. Alright, everybody. Welcome back to SketchCraft Live. I'm Rob Duenas. Yay, everybody. Golf clap. Golf clap. Alright. So, we're going to be working here on some Batman. That's what we're going to do. No regular podcast tonight because I don't have much to say right now. So, when there aren't really a lot of good topics, we'll just take a break. So, in the meantime, we got Brandon's doing some shit. He's not here yet. He's supposed to be, but what he does is wait for me to call him and check up on him. And I can't do that because my phone is updating, even though I didn't want it to. But apparently, Samsung just makes your phone update. So that's good to know. It just says downloading, do not turn off target. It's doing this. So whatever this means. So, in the meantime, we shall get started. Alrighty. Oh, hold on, folks. Sorry. That looked like an yeah, it just did it on its own, so we have to wait. Then Brandon will say, "You didn't call me. I was waiting for you. I didn't hear anything." That's what will happen. In the meantime, let's get to work. You know, I already added a layer of this, so it's probably not going to help. We'll go to burnt sienna. Just saying hi, going to work on this Dragon Girl thing. Cool, cool, Hector. Peace. Today was a very Monday-ish Monday. Yeah, I had some stuff to take care of myself, so. Been having trouble drawing big. Have you ever gone through that? Trying to figure out a solution. Yeah, draw small and then enlarge it. Don't draw large. Draw small. Blow it up. Problem solved. Here we go. Hey, Brandon finally showed up.
Hello, everyone. Let's see. Looks like you got Hector, Brain, Crusher, and Potato Pran's watching.
Hector bailed.
Ah. Fair enough. All right, so part 2 of coloring Batman, yeah?
Yep. It's going to be 3 parts. The goal is to get him done, and then tomorrow I'll get the background, plus any tweaks.
Right. Yeah, it's looking good. It's getting there.
Someday I'll learn how to do this. You know what I mean? Someday.
One day it'll click. Hey, Brain. And thanks for addressing me as Lead Heavy, Brain. I appreciate that, and not Mega Potato.
No one has Mega Potato, man. That's what I like about that. It's unique. I mean,
It
McDonald's does. Like,
can't be any worse than at one time when people came up to my table and they're like, "Hey, you're that other guy, right?" I'm like,
I
what?
like Other
Yeah,
Guy because that's right out of Blink Man. Which is one of my
you're the other
favorite
guy,
movies.
right? On
Yeah.
the podcast.
We got to
You know
watch
the one
Blank Man next time I hang out at your place. Like when we come over for con. When's the
you
last
don't
time
want
you
to
saw
watch. You
Blank
don't want to
Man?
watch Rounders again.
Oh no, we're watching Rounders. I need that.
Okay. Okay.
That's my comfort blanket.
All right.
And get some wine, sit down,
I haven't seen
sketch,
I haven't
and
seen
watch
Blank
Rounders.
Man in forever.
Yeah, we'll watch that together. Don't watch it.
All right, I'll wait.
It's highly underrated. Got my Rogue One tickets today.
Oh, nice.
So I'll be seeing it on the 16th. I don't do midnight showings. Close to it. Just if I want to do it, like I think like the
Yep.
latest is at 10:30 that night. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I mean, I'd rather do it on Friday and sleep in. You know.
Right.
Then so I will be offline Wednesday through Saturday afternoon. You know. Like matter of fact, the second I think it may come out in Europe the week before. I may not be streaming that entire week. You know, like not even like just listening to podcasts and audiobooks. You know.
Yeah.
Spoiler: they don't blow up the Death Star.
Yeah, I'm the other guy. Yeah. People are like, "You're the other guy, right? The one that Rob's always ripping your ass, right? Always giving you shit." I'm like, "Yeah, that's me, all right. Yep, yep. I'm the
Then
other
I
guy."
proceed to give you shit so they can get a little
Mhm.
taste of it. Sketchcraft live. Sketchcraft off the cuff. Ask Brandon who Ralph McQuarrie is.
know who he is.
Because you Googled? As I hear all the
No.
clicking in the background.
I'm clicking the stuff to print out the stuff that you sent me through my phone earlier. You know, I'm trying to get my own work done too. You know, so I'm staying busy.
I know who he is.
I don't know. Listen, I don't know a lot about. I just
no shit.
what I know is what you've told me. You told me he was the guy who designed a lot of the first Star Wars stuff, and he made, if I'm wrong, the lightsabers that made him have the point on them and everything, and he designed all the looks for stuff, right?
Right.
More,
I just like
more or
how you
less.
told me like no one would know that.
Yeah, like most people, unless they're uber Star Wars fans, would never know who he was.
Yeah. That was my point. If they don't know who they are, then they're just fucking fly by night Star Wars people.
Which
Yeah.
I was. I wasn't a Star Wars fan really, and I mean I
You
like
still
Empire
aren't
Strikes
really
Back.
like in order to be like a real diehard, and I think minimal entry is who's Poggle the Lesser.
I'm not a
See
diehard
see what
fan.
I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm not. But
I
I'm
don't
not
like that I
claiming to
know that,
be.
Brandon. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that's cool info to know. You know, like, but here we are. You know.
But I'm a fan. Not a diehard fan, but I'm a fan.
hmm I wish I could unlearn some things. Yoda needs to teach me how to do that. How do you actually unlearn some of the Star Wars shit that I'd rather not know? Fire! Remember when Boba Fett uttered those wonderful words? Lil Fett? Fire! Yeah. Somebody were talking on Clyde the other day. They're like, "Do you think?" I wish people. One of the notes in the mailbag was, "I wish they'd bring back the clone troopers." I'm like, just fucking let it go. You know, like people don't understand. Like they grow up with these things and they think because they like them that they're still good and everyone else is wrong, or it's just popular to be contrarian on the internet. You know, like
Right.
everyone says it sucks and that's not. They're not. I like it. Like they just don't understand the prequel stuff. Look, Star Wars survived for one reason and one reason only, and it wasn't box office tickets. It was merchandise. Correct, Brandon? Can we all agree upon this?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Spaceballs even made a whole fucking thing out of it, you know? Which, by the way, if I ever do go back to the Leia piece, I think I might put in a flamethrower. I think that's the only thing that's missing from that that didn't put the flamethrower in. So I am considering updating it with a flamethrower. Um, that being said, uh, the merchandise for all things prequel tanked. Tanked Star Wars. You couldn't sell one fucking thing. I was there for it, you know? I watched. I watched the numbers. So when they go, well, I think it's good. It doesn't fucking matter what you think. The merchandise didn't sell. You know? You can like the new Ghostbusters movie all you want. You know? Did the merchandise sell? Well, yes and no. Classical Ghostbusters iconography, the logo, which has always sold, yes. Pictures with those girls on it, no. You know? So the brand survives, but they'll probably move on from the ones they're currently using. Or I think is a 50-50 thing. I think they might end up doing the stupid thing of splitting the Ghostbusters universe up. Like, you know, in a way you got Rogue One's a side story, you'll have like a multiverse Ghostbusters where the women are in one universe and then the guys are in another, and then they'll team up. Now, I'm the only person who said this so far, Brandon, right?
Right.
I'm telling you, I had this feeling, the pit of my stomach, that that's where they're going with it, you know? And, yeah, that's going to solve the problems, you know? It's not the writing, you know what I mean? Whatever. But the clone trooper, I mean, this shit just didn't sell, man, you know? No one gave a shit. I worked on the Rebels merchandise and it wouldn't sell. Yoda. Yoda and Vader. It's the only thing you could put on Rebel stuff that would sell. Yoda and Vader. You ever notice a surprisingly large amount of Yoda shirts in the boy sections with the little cartoon Yoda?
Yeah.
That's why.
The Rebel one.
Yeah.
The Rebels.
Yeah, they
So,
just don't the other shit doesn't sell, man. So could it have sold if the movies were better? Yeah. But that's an alternate universe. We don't live in that that universe. In that universe, Brandon's the greatest illustrator ever, and I'm, you know what I mean? Like, I am floored by his amazing talent.
Hooray!
Yeah, that's see? The potato verse. In the potato verse, all things are possible. So you want some inside baseball in the world of sketchcraft?
Sure.
So, on one hand, I have a publisher who doesn't seem to understand my position in life, in that I don't care how hard life is for them, and it's always difficult to get money from, and, whatever, which is par for the course. And another publisher, which is overseas, agrees to do something, wants me to work on something, and then in the fucking email with the description of what they want, ends it with, "We will pay you in PayPal. We will cover the fees. It will be paid before you submit the PSD. Be sure to submit invoice with final JPay." You know what I mean? Like, just letting me know I'm going to be paid promptly before I even start. You know?
Yeah.
That's how you fucking do it, bro. You know? I was like, well, there is, someone out there who gets it. What an exception. Don't fuck up that relationship.
Yeah, they just take it for granted too much, and they just assume that, oh, you could just drop everything and just work on this piece of art for them
Yeah,
right now
and if
because
I
they
don't,
need it
I'm
right
shunned.
now.
I'm ostracized from the entire community. I don't play ball.
Yeah, and you're very off-putting to work with, Rob.
Yeah, I'm so difficult. You know what I mean? I am such the difficult guy.
I mean, I can't believe you demand to get paid within, the first couple months of doing the work. Ugh. I mean, seriously,
Yeah,
ego much?
let alone 30 days.
Right. And then you'd like to know all the info before doing the art? Like, come on now. I'm just going to print these out at 5x7, low transparency, and
Yeah,
then work over them. That's what you would want,
yeah,
right?
that's what I want you to do.
Okay.
I think, Brandon, and this is not a slight against you, so I don't want you to take it this way.
Yeah, that's
It's
fine.
just a reality. I don't think you're ever going to be a guy who's coming up with your own. I think from now on that the thing is for me to do breakdowns and for you to clean up. I think that's going to be the role. Maybe 20 years from now that changes, but that might just be the way it is. That means you just keep focusing on construction and getting better, and we'll let time. But for the foreseeable next 5 years, let's just take that path. You know, that's okay.
Okay.
At Disney, not everyone. When you see a frame of animation back in the day, even now with the CG movies, you think that's one person?
No.
No, they have a lead animator who's putting together all those things, and they got people that clean up, and then they got people who do in betweens. It's in betweens and then clean up. You know, so we're gonna operate on that model. All right,
All right.
and then we'll just see where that takes us over the next. Let's just give it 5 years, so we don't have to have the conversation ever again. Because all I want is wins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying what I gave you is a genius thing, but you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's like a I can do shorthand, and you could clean up, and it's still better than the other solution. So we need to just go that route. I don't give a fuck what people think. And you
Sounds
go
good
look
to
at those
me.
Transformers comics. There was 3 people drawing that book. One guy drawing fucking Transformers. 2 guys drawing backgrounds. You know, plus the
Yeah.
inker.
Yeah. In-house style.
That's why they went out of business. It's too many people drawing one book.
Okay, let's see. Let's open this
I don't even
up.
know if like that's the style. I just got some shit done. You know what I mean? To move on with life. You know, like I'll work this out as I go.
I just meant like as
It's just
far
how
as
we roll. That's how
breakdowns.
we roll. You know, the question will be how loose can I get it? You know,
Right.
how moving forward, how little can I draw that? You know, how much effort will it take on my part?
Right.
You know, is the bigger issue. Hopefully, it becomes less and less. You know,
Right. Let's- Excuse me. Okay. Crop out Batman.
because for me, it took 15 minutes. You know,
Right. Took me a little longer.
yeah.
Okay, so that's Batman. Let's see if there's any questions in the chat room.
No,
No.
they're just
Everyone's
hanging
pretty
out. They're just hanging out.
just hanging out, watching. I don't know why I said that all weird. Whatever. For some reason, I was going to ask you how the weather was over in San Diego right now, and then remember you don't live there anymore
Nope.
because we had a crazy storm the last yesterday. So I was like, oh, wonder if the storm hit California.
Don't know.
Right?
It's 40 degrees outside. Where I'm at.
Damn.
It's nice.
$40, dang. Is that like the high or the low for the day? Like what was the
I don't know.
what
Well,
was
it
it during
froze
the day?
last night, so it rained and then it froze last night.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah. So see, you got rain.
I don't think that's abnormal for here, bro.
Uh, that's cool though. You go from beachy type stuff to now snow.
No, not the first time in my life.
Did it snow a lot in Germany when you were there?
Yes.
Did it make it harder to do all your stuff with the
Yeah,
tanks and everything? Or
sure. No, it's like to be in like. I mean, bro, there are pockets of snow that go higher than the trees. So like you just don't go off the trail because that might actually be a canyon that you're
oh
walking
shit.
into. Yeah. People are like, it snows. I'm like, man, I just thanks for that. Like I'll be sure to take that advice. Thank you. But even my family members and friends, I didn't really when I went to Germany, dude, like I just stopped talking to a lot of people. I had 3 or 4 people I wrote letters to, consistently. And I had a lot of writing time, so I wrote long letters to those people, but like my family, and I mean, they're not that close with me anyway. So, and I won't lie, man. The first year is an adjustment. And you go, man, fuck this. I miss the heat. All you do is talk about how home was better. Then one day I'm like, fuck that. Like, like, oh, so it gets cold sometimes. They go, well, you got to pay for heat. I'm like, yeah. I don't. What happens when you're 80 and you can't afford that? I'm like, one, I'm not 80 yet. I'm 19. I was 19 at that. I'm like, just give me a little bit. Before I get to that 80 mark.
Yeah.
I'm like, and two, like I look at it now, I'm like, well, I guess I'll move. I mean, and if the
Right.
planet's getting warm, maybe I'll be in the right temperament. I don't fucking know. I don't know where I'm going to be at when I'm 80. You know what I mean? Does
Yeah.
anybody? I don't understand this.
I don't know if I'll make it to 80.
Some people just I had a dream you didn't make it 80 the other night. I'm like, oh great, here we go. I fucking told this guy to eat right, and this motherfucker. It's a whole conversation. I woke up. I'm like, I couldn't tell. Is that real? It could be real. Nope. Oh, that was a dream.
Hooray!
I wasn't even sad. I was like, ah, fuck. Like I knew it. I knew it. Had to have his backyard taco every fucking week. Like,
I skip a week sometimes.
sometimes.
I'd say
Whenever the bye
I'd
week
say
is for the
I'd say
Cardinals.
two out of four, maybe 2 out of 4 out of the month. 2 weeks out of the 4, I'll go once, twice, 3 times. I'm out. All right, I got these set up. What transparency should I do it on? Oh, Rob, Brain asked what you went to Germany for. I don't know if you said.
I was in the Army from 98 to 2001. I got out right before 9/11 due to back issues. I had a 4-year contract and I got out about a year early, but not really the way it would have worked out. It was more like 8 months early because they factor in certain things. So, um, so I got out like 8 months. That pissed me off because I was like, I spent 2 years doing these physical therapies. Finally, go, you know what? We're just gonna get rid of you. I'm like, it's 8 months. Like why don't you just let me stay in Germany for the next? I just go to another Christmas season. That's what I was thinking at the time. And like, nah, we're sending you home. And then 9/11, and I was like, well, I guess I'm glad I don't have to. I mean, I wouldn't have gone anywhere anyway. The way my back was at the time, it was non-deployable.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have just been there. But I know like they really clamped down security on the base or on the post. Sorry, it's called a post. So that would not have been much fun to watch the place I love turn into. Eventually, I went back and they built this giant wall. It was horrendous. It was ridiculous. Like it was a demilitarized zone, the middle of fucking Frankfurt, Germany, or Freiburg, right outside of Frankfurt. But when I was in it, it was fun. You know, I mean, as fun as freezing your fucking ass off and being stuck in a hole, having a car, dig out your own fucking, you know what I mean? Bed can be, but there was no
Right.
war. No one was dying. It was just like, tell people it was like college with weapons. You know.
Okay, let's print this out. Ooh, flatten image. Maybe let's do. Yep.
But I was very cold. It's like I was out the other day. It was first hit 40. I'm like, it doesn't bother me. What used to bother me was when we'd be in this, and they wouldn't. You have to wear whatever the first sergeant wears for PT.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
he'd show up in his short shorts,
Oh,
and you're
shit.
like, so yeah, everyone's like fucking taking their shit off. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you gotta be.
Yeah.
Then you can go from all your shit's just lying on the side, and then you can't. You're just sitting there, and he'll like do a long speech, you know, and they
Right.
basically make you suffer so you want to run, you know. 'Cause you just be sitting there, and I gotta tell you, sometimes you get a burst of wind right up your fucking Yahoo, you
Hmm.
know. You're just like, oh, for the love of fucking Christ, like, can we just run this motherfucker, you know?
I'm gonna put it on mute real quick while I print this out. So 1 minute. Why isn't it? Hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to get this to print, but come on.
Am I a Halo? I'm a fan of the music and the lore, you know. I liked Halo 3 as a co-op game. I don't like the driving, and I don't really care to play any first-person shooter by myself unless it's Portal or Half-Life. So I like co-op. I don't like a lot of first-person shooters. They give me headaches. So I think narratively, Halo needs more Uncharted. Not Uncharted in terms of the humor or anything. I'm not saying that, but it needs better writing. You know, and beyond generic sci-fi thing. Like it needs a, I don't know. It could use a jolt of something. But I think it's a cool character. It's a cool universe. You know, and I think Microsoft has sort of squandered. It could be way bigger than it is today. You know, I mean, it was. I mean, once when Halo 3 came out, it was fucking huge. I mean, but they just haven't done much with it compared to like look at Overwatch. You know, like crazy. So. But I've always had one problem I've had with Halo is the way they level design. They tend to take a little snippet of something and just keep repeating it over and over and then flipping it and repeating it over and over to pad out levels. You know? So, hey, what's up, Jamal? So, how long does it take to update this fucking phone? I'm gonna reboot that fucking thing. I think it got stuck on a loop. But I'd rather play a Halo game before a Call of Duty. I'll never play a Call of Duty game. I don't give a shit. So, thanks, Jamal. Love the music on all the scores. You know. But look, from what I hear, they fixed Gears of War, so they could fix Halo. You know, but it's going to require, for me, it requires a strong co-op component. You know, that'll be what gets me. And although I will never buy another Xbox, so it would have to be on PC as well, which right here is not a problem. But then again, I also don't own Windows 10, so yeah, maybe not, huh? Now that I think about it. I'm alive, bro. There's a lot happening over here in SketchCraft Industries.
It's fine. It's fine. My printer only has black ink in it, and when I go to print this low transparency of the lines, it keeps wanting me to shop online, and it won't let me print out the lines.
Sometimes it can't run with empty cartridges and it'll damage the print heads.
Right. So
You should always have backup ink, bro.
I didn't know we were out. I wasn't aware. Not too happy about it.
Justin, yeah, home's fine. Just process of moving. It's like Comic-Con times 50. I don't have one problem with where I'm living. Not one. Not one problem. I've had a problem with everything that's been disrupted because of the move, you know? The endless amount of pieces in my portfolio that had to be replaced or upgraded, you know?
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I just got a game PC. It's stupid I have to pay to play online when I'm already paying for it. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I get if it's some giant server and that costs them money, but, you know, like Battle.net or something. But if it's just to play multiplayer, I mean, they should let you host your own servers. It's tough, man. I mostly play single player games, so even Diablo, I play Diablo on my PS4, so it doesn't really affect me. In a way, it still does it, right? Because my wife plays WoW, so,
Right.
you know, there's that.
Did you rent the newest Uncharted, or did you buy that when I was over that one
I
time?
bought it.
Do you ever go back and replay it, or
Yeah,
once you're done, you're done?
played it twice.
Oh, nice.
It's even got cool like photo modes and shit. It's a cool story, man. I play on the easiest difficulty just because I want to play through it. I don't really give a shit about, you know.
Right.
I gotta fucking play on survival to prove how great I am. I suck. You know, I don't got fucking. I play it because it's fucking cool. So yeah. There's other stuff to play now, but it was awesome. For me right now, it's my game of the year. You know.
Right.
I am looking forward to that Spider-Man game. They're getting me hyped. They're getting me excited about that. You know.
Yeah.
You don't get to play it.
I bet you it'll come out next
No,
month
I
or
bet
something.
you it won't. Because Sony owns Spider-Man. You think
Yeah.
Marvel does? Guys. When it comes to video games and movies and animation, anything not the comics, Sony owns that. Despite what you all think. That is a crazy deal that they signed. That deal, the deal they signed between Fox and Sony is what saved Marvel from bankruptcy. So, I assure you, that video game is staying exclusive.
Well, that sucks for me.
Yeah, hey, you chose poorly.
I'm fine with my choice. I could eventually get a
Every game you like
PlayStation.
on there is available on the other platform. There is no difference other than you're just like, I'm just an Xbox guy. Like you're so 2001. Like you play no exclusive titles.
I'm so 2000 and late. Titanfall was exclusive when it first came out.
It isn't anymore.
No, but it was.
And I hear the
And
sequel's
then,
actually good, but everyone was so burnt out on the first one, no one's playing it. I'm
right?
like, well, that's their fault, you know?
Yeah. No, I when I was getting an Xbox One, I really wanted Titanfall. I was like, oh, mech suits, first person shooter. I was all about it, and then, eh, it happens.
No scheiße. What's up, Fernando?
Johnny asks, "Do you stream in the afternoon still?"
Yes and no.
That was very cryptic.
Not consistently. I'm going to be. I just every time I say yeah, tomorrow's regular schedule, then some fucking crazy shit goes down.
Or you're
So,
up too late, or
well, that only changed because my wife was supposed to have her whole. She's supposed to have this whole new schedule,
hmm
and the only way to make sure she got up on time was if I stayed up all night,
right,
and then that fucked everything. And then she goes right back to actually that schedule doesn't start for till January. I'm like, then I had to get back on my other. It's a fucking nightmare, dude. You know, I just want my sleep schedule to stop being a little all over the place.
right.
So I'm trying to go back to the. My goal now is to just go back to my schedule I had for the past month and just deal with it. Um, but first things first, I gotta. Half the days, man, are just spent like, oh yeah, I forgot how to Copic. Like, I haven't done that in a month or two. You know, what do I? And then I spent an entire night. Literally, I got 100 sheets of paper over here, having to refigure out the line tints because the new printer prints things differently. You know,
Right.
so I had to spend all night just to get it so it kind of works right.
You have a Canon now, right?
I had a Canon before,
Right. What's the Canon you have now? Is it the
the
IP
Pro 100.
8700?
It's the Pro 100.
Oh, okay. I have the Canon 8700 series, which it's like yours, but not the same. It looked the same in the video when I saw it. I just
Do you have a light gray thing, or do you have the photo magenta, photo yellow inset?
I'd have to check that.
Because they switched art over to this like 3 kinds of gray, and it makes everything dull until you go in and fuck with all the color settings. I actually have to make a video about it for people, you know.
Uh-huh.
But one of the many things. So yeah, I'm really supposed to be streaming during the day, but it's hit or miss right now. It will even out soon enough. Never underestimate moving multiple states. You know what that can do to your fucking productivity schedule. Like when Brandon moved from Phoenix to California and back to Phoenix, like in 2 weeks. Hey man, I felt for you. I was very sympathetic to that, you know? I wasn't clowning you. I didn't say you got shit due, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, that's not easy. And everyone you said goodbye to is like, you're back? That's gotta suck. It's embarrassing, right, Brandon?
Beyond.
Yeah. Couldn't make it. That kind of shit, you know? And it's like, that isn't it at all, but alright, you know?
Yeah.
It's like when I talk to my family and they're like, so when you coming back to San Diego? I'm like, I just left. You know, like, I just left. Hopefully never. You know? What? You're never going to see me? No. You know? Do you care that much? Were we that close?
I just want to print these lines out.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could just light board the fucking Cintiq.
Yeah.
Not the same
Always
as going
have
over the
ink.
lines, though.
Always have inks. Some printers won't let you print until you replace them because it'll damage the print heads. I don't know if that's your case. If there's a workaround, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing to figure it out.
Oh, I know.
So it was late the other night. I had an issue around here. So I'm sitting there. I walk right to see my wife. Then the mouse starts to go on the one downstairs. So she plays. We have HTPC, right? So she's playing WoW on the TV. The mouse starts to turn on, turn off, turn on, turn off. Doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. I'm like, that ain't good. And then, doo-doo. So it still has power. There's a red light coming up, but no mouse movement. You know? So we have a wireless mouse hooked up as well. That seems to be working fine. Plug-in mouse don't work. So I unplugged the mouse. I put in the mouse into another USB drive. Nothing. Put into another USB drive. Nothing. Put into a USB drive I know is working that's currently powering one of the hard drives. Nothing. Oh, the mouse can't be dead. It's brand new. It's literally brand new. Just bought it.
Right.
So then I plug in a hard drive into the same fucking USB port. Works just fine. I'm like, okay, so what's going on, dude? Right? Suffice to say, I get it to work through selectively turning things off, rebooting, and getting Windows to install some weird driver that it needed for this mouse, right? That ate up 3 hours, Brandon, you know?
Yeah.
And then, no offense, guys, I'm not like exactly in the most creative mood. So I have to sit down and start finding things I can work on that don't require drawing. That's the thing that I can't draw when I'm that kind of like, it doesn't work. I need to find other
Hmm.
shit to do. So it's just weird shit like that over and over and over and over until everything like smooths back out. Marcus has any chance I'll be posting limited color prints to my store? Yep, and they just arrived today. But I need to get my setup done tomorrow. So tomorrow, one of the main reasons why I won't be streaming in the middle of the day is because I'm going to be fucking rebuilding that print station complete. And you wonder how long can that take? It can take a while. Like I've already put 15 hours into it,
Hmm.
and I'm maybe halfway done. So it's a whole thing. But if I put them up in the store and I can't ship them right away, that fucks up the store's rating. You know? So I can't have that. But yes, they will, Marcus. They'll be in very shortly. Very soon. I can't say when. Very soon. And I have 10 of them, so they're going to come and go. And they line up nicely, I might add. Color, the reds came out just right. Got the new printing profile. I got to make a new video on that. And came out nice. So, but I am tired of it. I didn't think I'd have to rebuild every fucking thing.
Right.
Like I didn't think, like, yeah, you turn things off, you plug them back in. I don't mean reinstall new router, new modem, new network, new hard drives, new printer, new Cintiq, new fucking mice, new mouses, new wireless dongles on 3 different computers that also have to be configured and installed to work because I need 5 gigahertz transmission on all these computers and they only have 2.4. So I needed to upgrade everyone to 5 fucking gigahertz. Brandon, like there's so much shit I don't talk about, like because I'm like, who cares? What am I gonna just rant on the fucking podcast? My life is hard. It's like, well, you know. On top of the fact that artwork is due, people are like, where's my commission? You know, where's my commission? Shit, trying to get to it, guys. I just had an issue today. This house I'm at, the fence that we're connected to the neighbors is literally split in half, and one of the whole boards fell out due to the wind. I don't know whose job it is to repair it. All I know is their dog came through that fucking fence, came after my dog. Now, they got along, but that's not good, Brandon.
No.
That's not good. So, guys, it's just, this stuff will all chill, but I don't know. You know? I don't know. I'm getting kind of tired of it. I don't know that much. Hmm. I'll just do warm grays for the background. Where's my W5? Then the driver's licenses and the car registration. Halloween decorations, Thanksgiving. It's all happening at once. I'm like, next thing you know, the end of the year is going to be here, and I got 4 or 5 months where I didn't do jack shit, but just rearrange my life. That's ridiculous. Because believe it or not, I want out of some of these projects.
Right.
I gotta get Brandon artwork now. That's stuff I gotta do. I gotta keep you busy. My issue with that isn't so much setting it up as you taking forever to finish it. Like everything's set up for you, just do it. Just do it. Make your dreams happen. When Brandon hasn't gotten his shit done, that's when I'm gonna start emailing. Just do it.
If I can get my printer to print, that'd be nice. I don't want to have to go buy ink
Oh, you're supposed to get the cheap ink, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna see if I can get my boss to buy me some tomorrow. As like a work incentive, as a tax write-off.
You should always have one set available, bro. And the minute you run out, you buy another one.
Well, I don't
You're
ever.
running things down. Huh?
I
Well,
hardly ever use the color. I mean, all I ever do is I print
it's
out the.
using a bit of the color every time it's printing black and white, regardless, Brandon. It's called rich black, right? Are you selecting grayscale when you print?
Yeah.
Well, it's probably still using color. Or it's probably still using it.
Oh, because there's a bit of red in the drawings.
Have you desaturated everything? Yeah, but it doesn't matter now. If they're empty, then they won't let you print with empty print heads.
Yeah.
It's like moving forward, you need to double check what's actually in there.
Let's see if that helps. Drop that beat, DJ. Mark, I don't know if you read this question. Hey, Marcus said, "Hey, Rob, any chance
We already had
you?"
this. You asked, and I already answered it.
Yeah, sorry. Well, I'm behind.
I said they arrived today, but I have to get the store. I have to get my ability to ship things squared away before I can post it. So I'm hoping to have that up no later than Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the goal. I have 10 Final Fantasy VII tonal, red ones, whatever, noirs, and 10 Batman noirs. Well, you can't fix your printer and pay attention at the same time.
No.
Did It's your fucking problem.
Let me go ask Jessica if we have any backup stuff. Be right back.
Needs to dry. Settle in. In the meantime, Am I excited about the Final Fantasy VII remake? Not really. You know, I'll tell you why. I don't have a problem with them remaking the game. Um, I like turn-based battles. So turning Final Fantasy into Kingdom Hearts, not really my cup of tea. Guess I'm old school like that. So it's not really being made for me, you know. If they had an option to play it turn-based, great. But I don't think it'll be a bad game. Square seems to be making pretty good games as of late. It's not for me. Well, you know, Ash, even if they just remade Final Fantasy VII, where it was top-down with high-res backgrounds, I wish they would give us HD versions of the game where the backgrounds are actually in HD and they could model the characters, you know, so they fit the actual look, and they also give you the option to turn that on and off and go with the retro style characters, or you know, it should be called Final Fantasy VII Rebuild more than remake because it's not really a remake, you know. So you know, it's just not being made for me. So I'm sure a lot of people out there will like it, but you know, I like Bravely Default more than I like Final Fantasy 15. You know. So. So that's why I'm buying all those Dragon Quest games. So they'll bring the next Dragon Quest out here, so I can at least get that. Sabadilla. And they got the money. They can make a version where they can make a mode where you could play it in turn based, you know. But they're not gonna do it. So. Hey Garland, what's up, dude? Yeah, it's been a while. I got a Final Fantasy VI piece coming up. So like Dragon Quest VII on 3DS is a remake where they take the old game, they rebuild the entire thing, maintain the core features, fix certain things, like give you, you know, slightly better inventory system, things like that. I think 8 has the better inventory remake add-on than 7, but Brennan's gonna spend more time trying to get that printer working than if he had just lightboarded the fucking drawings in the first place. See what I'm saying, guys? That's what I'm talking about. Any thoughts on the Cars 3 trailer? It's not much of a trailer, man. You can see that they're working in that photogrammetry tech that they got on the Good Dinosaur into the look of it, but whether it's going to be a more serious Cars or not, I don't know. You know? Can't say I care one way or the other. Maybe. Yeah, they can. They might. It's got a different director. First two were directed by Lasseter, so that bodes well. I mean, if it's just going to be a bunch of, if it's going to be a big snuff film where they just kill off all the Cars characters, that would be hilarious to watch with kids. You know, just crying in the theater and shit. So I don't think that's going to happen. Incredibles 2 is going to look amazing, bro. No doubt about that. That's enough for me. We all hit that limit, right, Hector? Well, this paper is super sensitive and emotional.
Hey everybody, I'm back.
And the time it took you to not get your printer to work, you could have just lightboarded it.
Yeah, but trying to do it on the Cintiq, I couldn't lightboard it without printing it out. So if I'd have to do it on my Cintiq, then I can't read the comments. I gotta hover over this hot ass board right now.
Oh, yeah, it's the hot ass board is the real issue. Blame the comments, folks. See that? Yeah, Brandon does that. He blames the comments. Like the
No, I
whole
just
time you were reading the comments when you were trying to fix your printer.
not the whole time. No.
No, of course.
Anyways, Jessica got it to print as a like off the PDF, and with enough transparency for me to at least practice on it tonight until I get more ink and then do a better version.
The nerve. King of excuses.
Not excuses. If I do it over the light, if I do it over the
excuses.
Cintiq and I don't do the lines nice or I lose things in the quality, it's going to look bad. So it's better to print it out at, 14, 15, 20% transparency and then do it that way.
Told you, folks. He loves to blame.
There's no blame to be had. It's not
I
like
know. That's what I'm saying.
what would I blame? I would blame myself for not having more ink in my printer. That's my fault. Or
That I
backup.
agree with. That I agree with. So I was watching Sean Gordon Murphy's Twitter today. So a couple of his comments came out through IDW, or one through IDW, and the other one I don't know who through. And like they had swiped a bunch of pages from his punk rock Jesus, right? His
Uh-huh.
Kurt Cobain comic. And I don't mean like some of them are entire panels, but some of them are entire pages. Between this and another comic, some of them are just whole pages. They just redrew them
Yeah.
and like that's their shit. So and he's like, yeah, no, no, no. And then Larson jumps in. Well, it's called swiping. It happens. And then I'm thinking like some of the stuff like Larson posted this cover that he's basically one was a cover from the '80s and the other one was a Kelly Jones cover. And the Batman poses are similar, but Kelly Jones blew up the fucking pose and a bunch. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's hard to say what's inspirational and what's a swipe. I mean, when you're really redrawing something verbatim, that's a swipe. I don't know if that second one's quite the swipe. In as much as I'll go back to early Sean Gordon Murphy art and show you where he got his shit from Calvin and Hobbes. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
like when those jeeps would go flying off, and I'm like, that's clearly a fucking. And he's got the Tyrannosaurus Rexes and shit. And you're like, that's clearly Calvin and Hobbes, bro. Like, oh look, there's an F-14 Tomcat just like on Calvin and Hobbes. Like, is that a swipe? No, you know. But these guys clearly fucking just jacked his comic and redrew it. And he's like, they'll never make a Dark Knight Returns doing that. I'm like, I don't think they care, Sean. Like,
Right.
I don't think that's their goal. Apparently IDW is going to look into it or take care of it with him or something. Give him a phone call. I'm like, good for you. Glad that worked out. That's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
I was looking up something yesterday for reference, and I typed in. What did I type in? I typed in something that wasn't even relevant. Oh no, I typed in something Dark Knight related because I was looking up maybe some of the color scheme for his, like how dark did his cape go and shit. Because I only got the black and white versions of the comic around here. My color ones are locked up, and so I go in there, and then you know how like when you click on the images, Yahoo or Google gives you like things you might also like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my piece was in there. I was like, it's a little, that's a little weird, you know, like it's a little, huh. I wonder how that it can't be based off how I search image. I don't look at my own shit other than post. Hector gave you some advice. Did you read it?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if he meant like, oh no, don't cough. I think that's what he meant. It's going to blow the light from your Cintiq Brotato.
Uh huh.
I don't get it.
What? He says don't cough. Brennan's had more of a yawning problem as of late.
Yeah.
He attributes it to a heavy workload. I attribute it to kidney failure. But only time will.
We'll see which one will get the
Yeah, we'll
better
see
of
which
me.
one plays out. You know. Cut to a year later, he died of kidney failure. Probably shouldn't have joked about that. Oh well.
I don't like this 432 Heck guy. Where's the other Hector? Let's move this over to the other monitor so I can see it. Don't want to miss out on any wonderful comments. So.
Brandon did the
Hey.
do. And the do done him in. Yeah, he did the do. He died. It was filled with electrolytes. They were what he craved. Brandon's never die.
That's right.
It would be funny you died and then you come back as the crow, but you're still fat and you got all that makeup on and shit. And I'm like, ah! People just. You know? No hair, just bald. Look like a fucking insane clown posse reject. Like, like
Yep.
death is tough, dude. Death is unfair.
David said, "Wow, man, you made some good progress. Looks awesome." I think he's talking about you, Rob. Can't be me.
Well, Brandon's making progress.
I'm a multitasker. I'm a.
Yeah, I eat and drink. I'm being mean.
Have
you improved your diet at all?
If I tease back, then I get replaced on the cast.
Have you improved your diet at all? Just curious.
Yes.
That's good. I don't expect you to improve your diet on Thanksgiving, by the way.
No,
I'm not one of those fucking people.
I lost 4.5 pounds the last 2 weeks.
That's just you took a big dump. I mean, let's be honest.
No, that's a lot for me to lose 5 pounds. That's a lot for me.
That's water.
I'll try. Wait till you see me at the next show. I'm gonna be ripped as fuck. All these gains.
Yeah.
Nah,
well, you know.
I'm not gonna be
for all your Red Velvet fans, you know.
Yeah. I'm hoping that I could probably, like, since we're talking about, lose maybe 15 more pounds by con. That should be good enough for me.
I don't even care if you lose 1 pound. What I give a shit about is whether you're drinking fucking Mountain Dew all day.
Hold on, I just need to take a quick drink real quick. Hold on. Some good stuff right there.
I don't even care about the weight. I care about the sugar intake. Yeah, I don't like investing this effort into Brandon and then he dies because he drank a lot of soda. Unlike you folks, I actually do have some financial investment in this fucker. You know, so you know.
I'm like that really bad condo that someone got conned into buying. And they're like, no, it's right by the beach. And the beach is like 5 miles away. And they're like,
you're nowhere
it's
near the
roomy.
beach. You're kind of by a con I don't like going to. Maybe this year it'll be different. Maybe this year that con will have its shit together.
No, I said condo. Like I'm the
I know.
condo.
I'm saying that I'm only there because you go to this con. You know, I can hang out at your house.
We're gonna hang out, like in real life.
In that I show up, we go do work, I leave. Yeah, you could call that hanging out.
That's right.
We watch Rounders 18 times.
I think I've watched it more times when you were over than I've ever watched it.
You're missing out.
I'm not saying no, it's a good movie. I'm just saying I don't think I've ever watched it back to back to back to back.
I just leave it on.
Back to back.
I can just leave it on. Well, I can leave Shawshank on too, but I think, the whole rape thing is not the tastiest, the choicest fucking thing to put on. The male rape scenes are not exactly what I want, your wife comes over, just sitting there watching, that shit. Like, it's a little dark, like.
Not a lot to explain and to do.
It's a little dark. That's all I'm saying. Rounders is a lot less dark.
A little lighter. Ash says it's like 50 Shades of Grey, where he makes sure his females.
It's 50 Shades of Dew. It's 50 Shades of Dew with Brandon. 50 Shades of Red Bull. Who would I give a shit if like you're? I don't care if you're big or thin or whatever. Some people are just born huge, dude. Like you think Brock Lesnar is supposed to be 170 pounds? You know? No.
Yeah.
But I don't think Brock Lesnar's fucking chugging down a case of fucking Mountain Dew and Red Bull a week. So I need to recoup my money. You know? That's how I look at it. I'm more like Phony Bone in this. That's who I relate to. I like Phony.
More like Monkey Bone
No one
and
saw that
Brandon
movie.
Fraser.
No one saw that movie.
We saw it.
From the director of Nightmare Before Christmas. But you didn't know that. I thought Tim Burton directed that. Nope.
I just produced it.
Yeah, Monkey Bone's like pre-Napster. You know? Like Jar Jar Binks hadn't been invented yet. Think about that. I mean, he had. We just hadn't seen him. Makes you wonder what's waiting out there right now. You know? It's all fucked up. You think it's going to be awesome. And then, nope. At least Rob thinks of Brandon. So that's a huge step up for me. You know, only when Brandon's on here and apparently on my subconscious. You know? That pisses me off. I don't want to think about Brandon when I go to sleep. That's not. That's unfair. What did I do? Did I kick a puppy in a former life or something? You know?
Hey, did you ever watch John Wick?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, you told me you were never going to watch it because of the dog dying.
I had to get past that.
Okay. You liked it?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I told you.
Okay.
That was my choice for Deadpool. One of those. Because it's two guys. One got credit because of the way the SAG guild works, you know? But it's two dudes. So the dude who didn't get credit as directing, he got the Deadpool 2 gig.
Oh, wait, so they're not going to do it as a team?
No. The other guy's going off to do, check this one out, Highlander.
What?
Yeah, that was announced this week too.
That's going to be cool.
Maybe. I'll like with Crow, I'll believe
well,
it when there's fucking something to look at.
Okay. Well, it'll be better than
Highlander Dimensions, where they promised those two would meet up and they never fucking do. You should have seen me throw my fucking soda. And that's like, I was pissed. I'm like, I actually went on, I was like, you know what? I'm not saying I should get a refund because I saw the whole fucking movie, but no offense, the fucking trailer said they were both going to be in this movie. What the fuck? You know? I was mad as shit. Never trust a movie where Mario Van Peebles is your main bad guy. doing his best Clancy Brown impersonation. Ridiculous. Well, really, you got to pretend to be the Kurgan? Really? Because that's what was wrong with Highlander 2. Someone didn't pretend to be the Kurgan enough. You know? Had nothing to do with the fact the fucking movie made no fucking sense, but Highlander 2 is bad, bro. People want to tell me how bad Batman v Superman was. I said that's just a colossal waste of money and time. Highlander 2 is fuck that. Like,
Excuse me. All right, let's do some lines of cocaine. No, art. If her boss or her work rented out like a suite for like a college game, would you go?
for what?
If her work rented out like a college football suite or something, would you go to the
Yeah, I've
game?
done that before. They did that. Her last place did that for the Chargers.
Oh,
Sure.
did you like it since it wasn't so like crowded? You guys had like your own like suite.
Well, they were playing Indianapolis or some shit like that, so it was a fun game for me. I just wasn't there as a Chargers fan.
Right.
I didn't tell anyone that, you know?
Yeah.
But that being said, still, I'd rather just watch it on TV.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I need the fucking little lines and the graphics. Someday there'll be like augmented reality, and going to a football game will make it a lot easier for myself. You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, because I get to go here and there because my mom's had season tickets since like for like 20 years, but for the Cardinals. But I just I don't I prefer being at home. I'm like you. It's like I like seeing everything, different camera angles, the graphics. I get to see where the first down line is.
Replays.
Yeah, everything. I get to see all of it. So it's like it's
Using
nicer.
the bathroom's far easier.
Yeah. She invited me to a game next weekend. And I was like, because I went pick her up from the airport. Remember the other night, and so I was like, all right, she doesn't want to go alone. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll go. But I don't know. If it was like a suite, because I was just thinking that because I was watching football earlier before you called, but like a suite I've sat in before, it's so much nicer. You don't have people bumping into you. You don't have to stand up every 10 seconds.
Yeah, but same at home.
Food, personal bathroom. Oh yeah, I know.
I don't get much of a kick out of seeing all those people live. You know what I mean? I'm not that into football for it to matter to me, or any sport. You know?
Right. Did you read Ash's comment about Highlander 2?
No, go ahead and.
He said Highlander 2 took place like way in the future, but then Connor is beheaded by Duncan in the one movie.
It didn't make any sense. Like it took place in some crazy Blade Runner like future. Then he kills another fucking dude and gains all of his youth back, which doesn't make any fucking sense. It's not how it's worked. And then they bring back fucking Ramirez or Sean Connery, which god damn it, you know. Then like they're all aliens from another planet, and it's so horrible, dude. You know. That being said, it's fucking Citizen Kane compared to The Crow 2. Still the only movie where I quit. Walked right out.
Yeah.
It got to the scene where Iggy Pop, who by the way was who The Crow was based off of. Like the whole look of him is based off Iggy Pop.
Yeah.
So like they put him in the movie because that's a nice nod, you know. And then it's just this really bad like remake of the first film, and like there's this part where he's like jerking off for no fucking reason. I'm like, I can't do it. I'm out.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, without the Crow, there'd be no Hot Topic. Let's be honest, folks. Like, the Crow pretty much made Hot Topic until they figured out, shit like Invader Zim, cartoons can make them a lot more money. But man, I really liked that first movie. That sequel angered me something.
Yeah.
I was pissed. I took a date too. It was Labor Day, 1997. Never forget. I apologized to her. I apologized. So I'm sorry. This is not indicative of what I thought this was going to be. You know. But The Crow isn't a universe. Like, I never. The Crow has to be like an anthology thing. You'd have to tell in different time periods. I always felt like for that to work as multiple films. Like I always had an idea for a Crow story. It takes place in the mid 30s, but something tells me they're just never going to get that shit right. I say at this point, let it be. Highlander is different. Like that's a great premise. It's like Sword Art. You realize that the premise is amazing, and the first book kind of got through the whole thing because you never guaranteed a second book. Just took off. So I look at the premise for Highlander. I'm like, you know what? You could set that up if you redo it. Cool universe. But we'll see. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah.
I personally would do a Netflix series. Fuck movies.
Right.
I mean, people are complaining now because, like, okay, this Warren Beatty movie came out, and it's gonna be like, everyone's like, oh my god, Warren Beatty's got a new movie coming out, and it does like opens up to 2,000 screens. It does $1 million total, which is horrendously bad, bro. That's Jim and the Holograms money. Like, so then there's this whole like, there's this whole argument being written up on what's it, the Hollywood Reporter, where it's like Star Wars has caused all these problems, and it's these big tempo movies that are killing Hollywood. I'm like, bro, there's plenty of small fucking awesome content being made. It's just on TV. I look at Fargo, the series. That is not something that would ever work as a movie. And if movies weren't tanking, that would never be a TV series. Game of Thrones, would that really work as a movie series? Really? With all the when they say politics don't work in Star Wars, go watch Game of Thrones. No, they work. You just need a fucker who can write. Like there's plenty of politicking going on in Game of Thrones. It's a little medieval, but it works. So it's like 11/22/63. It's a really small movie. Like a small story. In a film, it would be nothing more than just the gimmick. You wouldn't get the depth of their relationship. It's very hard to convey that in 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it's working out the way it is. I think the better bet is TV. I think what Warren Beatty made should have probably been more like a HBO series. And I know like Spielberg was clowning that. He's like, well, Lincoln wouldn't have been. Oh, it was almost an HBO series because we couldn't get it signed off. I'm like, maybe it should have been. Maybe that's the real frontier in terms of long form drama. Maybe the limits of 2 hour, 90-minute to 2 hour dramas kind of, we've seen it. What haven't we seen?
Yeah.
Because I know about you guys, like, I'm not in the mood to sit in a theater watching some dramatic thing with tearing going on and high emotions, and then some asshole next to me is like slurping his fucking soda and farting. You know, like I just it's like I'm gonna go see Moana tomorrow night. You know, and it's like I had to get the latest showing I can find because I just got to eliminate as many children from that fucking equation as I can. You know, but there's no way you can do that big CGI stuff on a TV budget. You know, I get it. But the Crow on HBO or Netflix would be awesome. You know, keep it grounded. I don't
It
exactly.
could even it could even be, let's just say, season one. If it's 6 episodes or 12. Once
Oh,
once.
and Brandon, they're gonna say there was a TV show, and I'm gonna say not that kind of TV. I just need to put that out there.
Um.
Not that old Witchblade TNT style TV. You know, like remember that one?
Yeah.
Remember that one? The Yancey
Yes.
Butler.
Oh, I remember.
Oh yeah.
I bought it on it was on sale one time on DVD for like $5 or something, so I bought it to try watching it, and I was like, nope. And I also bought the Birds of Prey show. Just to
Oh
give it a try.
shit. Yeah, I had to explain that one to my wife the other day. I'm
That was
like, well,
so
they're
bad.
making this Harley Quinn thing, and now it's more like a Birds of Prey thing, and I'm like, she's like, Birds of Prey, what is? It? And I had to, I'm like, well, they kind of did it once, and then they had to like Batman's daughter, and I don't see much of a difference in quality between Birds of Prey and Gotham, if you want my opinion.
Nope.
I think those could be tied together easily, and you know,
Yeah.
someone was saying the other day, is Barbara Gordon gonna be Harley Quinn? I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't give this fucking show doesn't mean anything to me. You know, its lack of protagonist, its lack of any reason to give a shit. It should just been called Cobblepot. You know how quickly it turned into like the '60s Batman. And the first imagery was making it look like it was gonna be like The Departed meets Gotham PD. You know,
Yeah.
with the whole New York fucking cemetery shots, all those cool things. And you're like, oh, it's gonna be like The Departed and CSI and The Shield, but with nope, no. You know. Then the fucking creator of the show is like, fucking superheroes are stupid. I'm like, you know what? I can't deal with this guy. I don't like the Smallville thing. I like people who are in Smallville. I don't like the Smallville formula. Right at the very end, he kind of takes his shirt off, and there's a CG fucking motherfucker didn't even wear the shirt. You know, I'll never forget that bull. I actually signed up for that last episode. I skipped the last two seasons because like fuck this show. I'll come in for
Uh,
when he turns into Superman. I show up for that fucking thing. Remember when they did Doomsday and he was just like a foot? It was like the
yeah.
Godzilla tail. Like, you know. Why would you ever do Doomsday on a CW budget? Come on, man. So Scorsese wants to make these 6 hour long films, and then they spend a year in post because he has to cut them down to 2 hours, and then complains about it. I'm like, just put it on fucking Netflix. Cut nothing out.
Yeah.
I could have watched 10 hours of fucking The Wolf of Wall Street, right?
Oh yeah. I would.
It wouldn't get the Oscar. Fuck the Oscars. No offense, guys. Like, when does the Oscar represent your choice of movies? When are you like, that was the best movie of the year? Bravo. Just, like, The Big Short. We all wanted to see that, right? Like, look, I think it's an important movie. I don't think that was the best movie of the year. You know,
No.
it's ridiculous. Do I care if Westworld wins awards? I guess not. You know, I don't even know what awards TV wins. What do they win when they're on Netflix and HBO? Do they win Emmys? I don't. Maybe HBO
They
because
won.
that's broadcast, right? They win Emmys. I don't know. Only one I care about is when Ricky Gervais shows up and makes fun of everybody. Is that the Golden Globes? I like that. And everyone seems to hate him for it. I love it. I could watch that. I could watch all day. Just him bagging on like Mel Gibson and Melly Gibson's,
Right.
you know, to Melly Gibson's face.
Just not caring whatsoever.
Yeah.
I love it.
What is it? If Melly Gibson's hits Ricky Gervais live on TV, he wins.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no downside for Ricky Gervais.
Anytime you say a joke and the person wants to punch you in the face, you win.
Yeah.
You win.
I am gonna go see Hacksaw Original. So
Really?
yeah. He says
You
some
like
stupid
that?
shit, man. I think it's ridiculous, you know, and I definitely doesn't. As a guy, I think that's. But at the same time, we live in a Hollywood where you know they're going to give Roman Polanski an Oscar, and he legitimately raped a 14-year-old. You know,
Jeez.
so I don't actually. Yeah, sodomized, bro, in the 70s.
Ugh.
That's why he's been living in France forever. So I
Jeez.
don't equate words as the same level as physical rape. You know, like
Yeah.
so. You know, I think it's bullshit. I think he needs serious fucking. Obviously, had a drinking problem, but you know, everyone deserves a second chance. Now he does it again. You know, there you go. But whatever. It did give us some great tape, though. You know, like just listening to that meltdown is crazy. Nobody should be marrying Mel Gibson, by the way. Like, if any woman marries Mel Gibson, you got what coming to you. I know you had your eye on him, Brandon. But you have to let
Yep.
that go. Alrighty, let that dry for a little bit. I just like the classic blue and yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I like the emblem too, but the big bad symbol makes more sense because it'd be covering his heart. Kind of something you want to protect. A little extra padding.
Move the drawing down a little so I can see the chest, the upper body. I think I'm on a delay, or did you not move it?
I moved it. There's a delay.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. See, I know the drawing you did earlier where the Batman has the round symbol, but I think these color schemes, but with that emblem, they're just so much better spread across the chest like that.
Needs to sit. We're talking on Collider today how they thought like John Jones and these guys were thinking that when they were watching Furios and Mad Max, they're like, wouldn't it be cool if like they thought that Immortan Joe would have been the original Mad Max, would have been Mel Gibson, and
Uh
then Mad Max has to fight Mel Gibson. Like the Mad Max we have now is just the kid with the boomerang from Thunderdome. There's this
okay.
kid. It was a whole thing. So, and that he sort of grew into the Max role, and then Max became this villain eventually.
Hmm.
Which that would have been kind of cool, but oh well.
It's funny how people don't realize how much simple things like the printer fucking up or other stuff you gotta do eats into the time. You
Imagine
know,
them all going off simultaneously.
right? Well, that's what I'm saying. Like people are like, oh, why
We're
isn't
talking
this
something
done? Why
of
isn't it?
biblical proportions.
It's like, have you ever had to reinstall all your drivers, all your Cintiq, all your shit after you move? Have
Plus
you ever had to?
modems across one, two,
Right,
three computers, not including my lap's Top 4 computers, plus the iPads. Because it's not just my livelihood I have to take care of. I gotta make sure all her shit works too.
right.
You know, new IP, new everything, new DNS, new network. All the home networks had to be undone and redone. And it's just weeks. It's weeks of effort. You know. So at some point you just don't even want to talk about it. You're just like, well, whatever. It is what it is. They were who we said they were. You know.
Is anybody? Nobody's chatting, right? Because I don't see anything new
No,
since
no
Ash
one's
said yeah.
chatting.
Okay. Excuse me.
They don't always talk, Brandon.
What what color did you use on that yellowish orangish wire on the part going across by his boot on the ground, kind of? I mean, not ground, but
No,
oh,
Y35.
it's hard for me to see on my screen. I'd have to watch it, on the HD. But I like it. It's vibrant. Is that the same one you use for the pouches?
Mm-hmm.
Like, or is it okay?
What are you drawing? Batman.
Goddamn Batman.
I like that All-Star series. I'm the only one of the few people who do. I'm like, maybe Batman was fucking crazy. Like,
Yeah, it was.
they always go, Batman's a psychotic. You know. Well, I don't know about that, but in that he certainly fucking is. You know.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. Like I was re-looking at it that I don't know a couple weeks ago because I found some of my old issues of it, and the Joker, you know, covered in tattoos, skinny, slick back hair, purple shirt with the
Right.
suspenders, you know, gun
Yeah.
holsters or whatever the fuck it was. Same look as the
Uh-huh.
Jared Leto Joker. I'm like, oh yeah, you know. I mean, they got a lot of different looks from different Jokers. I mean, it just, you know.
Look, man, the Joker I can't stand looking at. The thing I think of the tattoos are just it just doesn't serve any purpose in the story. If he didn't
Yeah.
have them before prison and then he's been in prison, that would be one thing, right? Like he's been in this Arkham forever, you know, and I guess they get tattoos in Arkham or some shit like that. Or maybe he hasn't been in Arkham, they put him in an actual prison, right? Um, then when he gets out, he could always jump back in the vat and get rid of him. You know what I mean? Like kind of
Right.
reset the whatever.
I didn't mind any of the ones on his body. I just hated the stupid one on his forehead.
It's pointless,
Yeah.
you know. It's just pointless. It serves no purpose. They don't do anything. They're just there because someone's like, that's different. That's a look. We're gonna go with it. It's perfect. Put it in the can. You know. So whatever.
It was me and Jessica went to the gym the other night, and she was about to do an exercise, and I was like, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you really, really bad. She started laughing. Made me laugh.
This is glorifying the torture of women. Like, okay. Boy, good thing they cut out that whole Harley Quinn on a motorcycle scene, huh?
All right.
That would not have gone very well.
It's on the extended edition.
Yeah, well, let's just say I'm done. I'm out. Seacrest out. Drop the mic. Thanks, Lakshan. Give me a second, Brandon.
Yeah.
I go grab my coffee. You there?
Yep.
All right.
I'll probably have to go to bed here in about 20 minutes, though. Do you want me when I did my lines and stuff, and I'm starting in on the Batman, Superman? Do you want me to just post progress of the stuff as I go, or just wait? I mean, do you care? I mean, since it's just practice and not the.
No, I don't care.
Okay.
You know, it's your fans. You want to show them shitty art? There you go. So don't make it shitty. Yeah.
Fair enough. Don't make shitty art.
No. Go down the hill really fast, and if something gets in your way, turn.
That's some good advice. SketchCraft advice. Don't
That
make
was my
shitty
advice to
art.
Rich back in the day. He wanted to know how to beat this game. He couldn't get the platinum medals on Blast Core. My advice was, don't get hit. That's how you do it. If you don't get hit, you'll get the medal.
Fair enough. I printed it out in 4 squares, so plenty of practice to do in the next time frame.
You should always be focusing on improving the sketch,
Right.
not ruining it.
Yes.
Putting your art next to your old art doesn't mean anything to me.
Right. No, I meant I printed out.
No, I know, but that's what I'm trying to say. If you put that, whatever you do next to the sketch, there's your litmus. If it's worse than the sketch, we got a problem. Right? But when you have me look at what you did today, in your mind, you're like, well, I mean, it's better than what you've been doing. I don't want to hear anything about what you used to do. That isn't the bar, you know? That's
Right.
what we have to undo. Everything you did before is trash, and it's dead to me. Doesn't count. Doesn't count. Yeah, it's true.
I know. I know
And
this.
the sooner you come to actually
Oh, I know.
believe this,
Oh, I do.
I don't know if you do. Like, I
Oh, I
think
do.
you think you do, or you know it's important to say you do. I don't know if you do.
Nah, I do. That's why I say okay. I don't argue it anymore. Maybe like a year ago I might have, but now it's like if you tell me, "Hey, that looks like shit." Well, it looks like shit and I got to redo it. It's like the War Machine. You know what I mean? You said, "Hey, this looks like shit." So, I went back and I did the 2.0 and it looks much much better. I'm not saying it's perfect, but if you put the first one next to the second one, it looks like 2 different people drew it. And that just came down to line quality and improving upon the sketch that was given. So,
Iteration's the key here, not magical. Automatically. I don't expect people to just magically get better. I do expect that if I hand you a rough sketch and say redraw it, that you're going through and focusing on construction, focusing on line quality, focusing on emotion and energy. You're not just tracing one drawing onto another piece and putting color to it and saying, there, pay me.
right.
Which is what 99% of entry level artists do. You know? Well, I drew it. I spent time on it. Pay me. Well, there you go. You know?
Yeah.
My goal is to have to draw less and less as the years go by. That should be your goal too, for me to have to do less and less.
Oh yeah.
but not practicing. And even beyond the practicing, like the little sheets, that's only one part of it. You also should be doing like 3D model deconstruction, where you're redrawing entire things and figuring out how they work constructually. All that other stuff I told you before needs to also continue on top of other practice. I forget nothing. Not when it comes to this shit.
Yeah.
And you will see how it improves. As time goes on, if it gets done the way I say it should get done, it will improve. Overnight, there is no overnight. Not with art. Now, with anything that involves a trade skill, or creativity. You want to mass produce something, you can button click your way through that. Build the first thing and mass produce a bunch of other point and click objects. You want to make art, it's going to be slow. Slow enough.
Yeah.
You want to make a lot of art, less quality. But you're at a phase where I say, like I told you, like you're at like high school levels here. So that's a reality of the situation. So what do you do with a high school student who shows promise, and wants to get somewhere? Well, you can give them an entry level, position where they're doing a lot of grunt work. They need the years to develop. It's just like a cook where, you're learning how to cut different types of cuts. There's julienne, there's all sorts of shit, like
Right.
they spend years just doing that, perfecting every little thing. You just never did that. So now you're starting in your 30s. It's not impossible. On
No.
your own, I would say it's impossible.
Oh yeah.
If you really wanted my opinion on it,
Oh yeah.
like the mean thing to do is say you can never achieve your dreams, kid. But here's the thing: if it was my dream to be a 5-star chef, that can never happen now. Do you understand? That is an impossible dream to attain, unless the standards for 5-star chefs fall so low
that you're in.
that I'm in. That there are just things that have to be done when you're very young. You have to work in a lot of different ways. There's, like there's a phase. So there's one other option for you, and it's still attainable. But if you don't do it, not only is it not attainable, I just get to sit back and show everyone how it's not attainable. So either way, this is like a documentary.
I'd rather be an example of making it than not making it.
Yeah, well, that is entirely up to you.
Right.
Like I always say, how I treat you is a reflection of how you want me to treat you. That's on you. I don't reward people. I don't believe in participation trophies. And people go, "Oh, that's really popular to say." I'm like, I never have.
Yeah, me either.
I'm not a guy who's like, I should, I don't even believe in fucking, personally, I don't even care about bronze medal. It's not that I go in and say I have to win something. I generally know that if I compete, I'll probably get second or third place. Because competitions are a weird thing in themselves. But if I go into a competition, it's to place. Do you understand? It's not to say, well, I did it. It's okay, what's second or third? Is the second or third place prize worth the fucking effort? Because I'll probably win one of those. So, but if you can't get past the standards for even participating, and that's what I'm talking about with you. Like, we got to get you to an acceptable standard. Like, we got to get you up to a point where that's what I would expect to see at someone who is entry level and, positioning their artwork in a way, looking for maybe sketch card work and commissions and stuff. This is what I should expect to see. That's what we're working on with you. And while that's happening, you also have to learn construction in a very intuitive way beyond what you know. Oh yeah, I know things are 3-dimensional. Like, I know that the sky is blue. You know, like, yeah, it's blue. I don't really understand about the spectrum or the way light refracts, but I get it. You know, you need to understand the particulars of it. Something Joe never did, man. You know, he would still say he gets it, and I would be like, really? Let's sit down and draw. You know, well, I'm out of practice. What, you draw all day? Like, I don't. What do you mean you're out of practice? You have an art job. You know. Well, you know, I'm not really drawing at work. So what do you do when you come home? Well, you know. See the excuses.
Right.
That's why I don't give a shit. I don't even like talking about my bullshit. I think it's all horseshit. You know. Like, all right, this shit ain't working. Art should still be getting done. But there's also a reality to how many hours are in a day. You know. You can't be a taskmaster. Like when you're like, man, dude, you know, my wife and I had a fight. I'm like, fuck you, man. You should be working. You know, like, like no, you take a night or two off. You know, mental health. But like that War Machine was just you tracing things poorly. That was ridiculous.
The first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I fucking hated it. I was like, this mother. You should see me over here getting this guy, and he doesn't even know I'm mad. And then I'm even more madder because you don't even know. You know. Then I'm
Hell
like, just
yeah.
calm. Yeah. Uh huh. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm cutting this guy loose. Fuck this shit. I don't need this shit.
Oh. All right.
No one ever fucking told me I had to fucking try. What's his fucking excuse? This is what goes through my head, Brandon. And I'm at least honest enough to say it here. How many
Yeah.
people would? You know?
I
How many people
responded.
would?
I responded to it. I knew, and I went and I redid it, and it looks better. And I could probably redo it again and make it even better. I think. I don't know. Hope so.
Well, yes and no. You got to work on your rendering. That's a. You have to really work on moving the brush around the shapes. You have to see and move the brush around the three-dimensional shapes to give them form. Not choo 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 choo. That's probably one of your biggest problems right now. You color like a fucking Etch a Sketch. Got a lot of color pencil work to do here. It's a downside of this new technique. It eats up a little bit more time
Right.
with the color pencils than I would like, but what can you do?
Excuse me.
This commission's gonna ruin all the other commissions this guy gets. Yeah,
Right.
these from non-pros. Yeah.
Yeah. You spoil the fans, Rob. Let's see.
I'm not a fan of the claws on this gargoyle, but I should have.
Reminds me of what's his name? Brooklyn from the Gargoyles.
Yeah, that's intentional. I just think
Okay.
the claws
Okay.
I could have done better on the drawing, but I
Or
think by that
Hudson?
point my
Is
hand.
it?
It's Brock. I don't know. I don't
Or
fucking know.
it's either
Bronx.
Brooklyn or yeah, it's either Bronx or
I
Hudson. I
think it's
think it's
Bronx.
Bronx. It's like
So, whatever. I just know my hand was really tired by the time I got to this fucking. Probably should have taken a break, but I just wanted it done. So whatever. I'm not a taskmaster. I can accept 80%. It's 8% I can't accept. 8% effort. 8% of the time, every time. Will you sell a print of this? Yeah, I'll have prints of the Copic version. So the Noir and the Copic version, I'll have prints of. Alrighty, so let's come in here and the Copic markers just all creep over your desk. You know,
right.
it's like
They
killing
just they start
tomatoes.
to
They
take
just
over.
every time you go, you just turn your head, come back, and they're like just they grew in size.
There's
Like what?
more.
Yeah, I'll have them on the Etsy store. They take a week now, once I even order for the prints to get here. So whenever this is done, it'll take a full week for me to even get them back. So Noir stuff will go up sometime this week, and then color ones will go up after that, probably another week or so, depending on when they get back. Place I found is local to Idaho, but not entirely local to my area, so it takes a while. So, whatever. It's like I want to do everything in America, but at some point, even with like printing, it's getting difficult.
Right.
Yeah. When I get around to the books, I may have no choice at some point. And that bugs the fuck out of me. But this country doesn't want to invest in it. They just think everything's going to be digital. Then there you go. So I'll be on this for one more hour. And then I'm going to hang it up. I should be able to, I don't know. I think I'm going to get close. There's going to be adjustments to make in the morning. So I'll make my adjustments, and then we'll do the background tomorrow afternoon. I don't think that should take more than an hour. They go by pretty quick.
I'm gonna send you a picture of my first attempt minus shading. It's Batman, just to show you.
It makes wacky speed and guy pop. I don't know, man. I don't really follow a bunch of dudes. You know? I've tried reaching out to artists on YouTube. It rarely works.
You got me.
You know, Fantastic Beast comes out. I'm not making a bunch of wacky Fantastic Beast speed paint videos, you know?
Right.
I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, Tiger. You know? I got other things I'm focusing on. I'm not looking to other artists to figure out, what do they do? I could do it too. I don't think any of it matters. Well, in my opinion, I could show you a guy that probably has 1 million views and he's just sitting in his room, you know, with bad lighting, talking, probably doing nothing. There's some people who just have cameras on that they don't do anything and they get millions. I don't, you know, you know, where they just sit there and they don't even do anything. Just watch them eat food. So, you know, I think I've learned the folly of trying to apply your art to trend. You know,
This is a tiny Hulk. That one was funny.
yeah.
The one time.
That's
But that
different.
wasn't. I know it wasn't like.
It's not even that tiny, bro. He's not that tiny. If you've seen him, he's like a 5x7. You know.
Yeah, it was. I know. I'm joking. It wasn't like you were like someone died. Let's make a print out of it today. So.
Yeah, there's no Tiny Hulk print. There's no speed paint Tiny Hulk. You know, Tiny SketchCraft. The channel's tinysketchcraft.com. Everything's tiny. You know.
Need to shape that in.
You know, I think I have good taste. I think I'm able to see things before they and things are going to happen before they're popular. Problem is, I haven't been able to capitalize on it due to one having a shitty fucking career. Or instead of focusing on making my own YouTube channel back in 2006, I was out trying to be a real artist. You know, working on real projects. You know. So I don't think I have a problem with my content or what I'm doing. The problem I have is just, you know, I'm growing. Sometimes people grow fast, sometimes people grow slow. But I mean, there's plenty of channels where all they do is draw My Little fucking ponies, bro. You know, like what am I supposed to do about that? I mean, if I draw some ponies, I'll get no. I don't. You know, like, hey, why don't I just fucking start playing Nerf too? You know, there's plenty of Nerf channels. What I know about this is true. How many people are producing at my level and streaming 30 hours of every fucking bit of it? You know, and doing art tips and how many people are doing what I'm doing? Think about that. You know, and I think long term, the people who have focused on short term, small projects on YouTube, short content where things kind of get cut out, and yeah, I guess that's how he made it, but probably not. You know, they're gonna get bored with it. And I've already seen it. I've seen people go, man, it's amazing that I can watch, you know, all the fucking hours on top of the speed video if I want to go watch it, you know, but that I can really see, you know, that the struggle's real. So some point it'll just catch up. I find, and Brandon's seen this, I'm usually 2 to 3 years ahead. Right, Brandon?
Plushies.
Yeah. Oh, you don't even get me started on that. You know, it goes on and on. This goes on and on and on. The problem is I just haven't been able to stick with things because of the nature of my career. Well, that's change or changing, you know, and it's growing. I mean, the channel's up. We're past the 10,000 subscriber mark, so it's growing.
Nice.
You know, it's almost double what we had last year. I got Brandon working on doing tags and shit, so we can start to get some of the longer form videos. You know, at least with the podcasts tagged out. You know, I want to grow sections of like things like the art tips and stuff. I don't really want to turn it into a tutorial thing because I'm not a guy who wants to sit here and teach.
Right.
Um, Here's how you fucking draw Batman. You know, like I don't, you know, really think that's important. So
Oh, did you get the text I sent you?
what you're gonna be here at 8:30?
No, no, no. I sent you a picture of my first pass at Batman. It's not shaded. It's just the lines.
No. But I have been doing this long enough to see what happens when people try too hard to emulate other people. You know, or think that one person had success doing something, that means you'll have success doing something. Yes, sorta. You tell me what's wrong with it.
With my lines.
Yeah.
Um, I think I need to, on the next one, make sure I follow the lines of the cape all the way through and down a little better.
I think your center
And
line needs to be improved. The chest doesn't meet any kind of center. It
right,
needs to follow from the neck all the way down. Needs to be rebuilt. I think
I
the
don't like
expression
the
on the face
cheekbones.
and the brows all weird. I
Yeah,
think I think in the initial sketch you can see the under part of the nose, and I think you flatten that out.
I'm gonna go look.
It's
Let me see
very
if I
slight, Brandon.
gotcha. Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
hmm
All right.
I think you need to work on strengthening those expressions so they're not just a little line that it's actually expressing. I don't know
Okay.
how to put that into words other than that. Like,
I'll get it. I'll figure it out.
In animation it's called stretch and squash. That's where when
Okay.
you add a bouncing ball, it stretches out a little bit further than normal,
Uh-huh.
and then it'll squash when it hits the ground. A little firmer, compress a little more than reality. And I think your lines, when you go to do like things like aggression or expression in the face, I think you just draw a line. I don't think there's anything kinetic about it.
I gotcha.
I think you should focus on building that up, you know? It's one of the reasons why I use the .03s, because I can
Mm-hmm.
draw these tiny little lines and kind of build them up. But since you're using pencil, I don't know how you get there, and then just keep it sharp. I don't know, Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Just want the best for you, man. Oh, I appreciate it, Tiger, you know? I know
Um,
you do.
that's fine. I'm just gonna post it as first pass, and then tomorrow's one. I'm gonna draw through it, print out a couple more. Actually, I'm gonna draw over this one just using a marker to find my center line. I'll use a highlighter.
YouTube channel is always a long-term project for me, you know? I'd say I've really been trying to grow it the last year, really, you know? Before I was just streaming and saving the videos. That wasn't like any kind of plan.
Right.
Other than I just didn't want like live stream wouldn't let me stream in HD, and live stream was deleting my old videos. So I wanted a place that wouldn't delete my old videos and would let me stream in HD and didn't charge money for it. YouTube is the only place. Period. So that's all I was doing. This past year, I was like, you know what? I gotta really work on this channel thing. Came with streamlining thumbnails, came with regular, you know, semi-regular updates, you know, as regular as, you know, I can be, given that I'm producing art versus we're not really making entertainment yet. You know, we haven't really even think
Right.
aside from the little cartoon thing that was kind of like a demo, was never really like even the podcasts aren't really designed to be like here's your weekly dose and da-da-da-da. It's just not. It's just I can shoot the shit about this on the phone or we can record it. That's kind of like where it's at for me. You know, I think there's a place for that kind of content where I can put it together and then post it. It's not a live thing, you know. Actually assemble something, but all those things take time, and I have other responsibilities, you know, like the power
Yeah.
prints and the game cave to have to get done before that's even something I can, you know, pursue or even want to. I mean, I don't even know at this point. Like whatever it isn't going to be like now. Here's Rob's fucking weekly fucking TV wrap up. Like I'm not, you know. Uh, I don't know about all that. Or, you know, here's, you know, weekly fucking speed paints. I'm start cranking all these videos out. I abhor too much content. Does that make sense, Brandon? Abhor is not even a great word for it, but it's a fun word. I don't know what to use, man. Like there's something to be said. If you do too much, too often, the quality's going to dwindle,
Mm-hmm.
especially with drawing. And a lot of these guys on YouTube I've seen, they start to produce a lot of stuff, and the quality there goes down. But their subscribership goes up, their views go up. I can't have that. I'm producing at my best every fucking time means I'm not going to have a ton of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just inherently. So I have goals with this. Um, and part of those goals with the YouTube is just patience. Patience and iteration. if anything, it's just a way to be able to reach out to, my, to myself, be able to say hello and work and be visible daily on some level, like as opposed to, when you're working professionally where you just disappear for months and months until something comes out. That's like the bigger thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to produce my work at YouTube standards in terms of quality and for art because I'll be honest, guys, I don't give a shit for 99% of the artists on YouTube. I just don't. I don't think I think most of them can't survive in a real art department situation. I know because I know, you know.
Right.
My problems aren't, and I think they're going to be way more successful at me than I am at YouTube because I don't pander. Like I'm not going to be like, here's me wearing a fucking Harley Quinn outfit, drawing Harley Quinn. Like I'm not, just not going to do it.
Damn it.
Brandon might have to, but I'm not going to. That's why I keep Brandon around. Brandon's a little bit of an attention whore, so he'll do it.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. All right. It's past my time to get ready for bed, sir. I'm going to post that as my first rough draft. Tomorrow's one's going to be better. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for listening to me chat and all that good stuff. Later.
Later. Yeah, the problem is publishers are against anthology, you know? I don't see any reason why Marvel can't be producing something like that consistently, but, they tend to try to always gear those towards younger kids and end up with things like Marvel Adventures. I'll tell you, man, people are going to read more when cars self-drive, you know? It's like in Germany, you got the train, you're going to read books, comics, and shit. It's like when they go, oh, girls don't read comics. They read a lot of manga. Maybe you should do something like that, you know? But then they'd have to be full color and, all the things that make that printing on newsprint in black and white isn't something that they're willing to do because the direct market won't support it, right? And all comics are sold off direct market sales for the most part. So you got a bunch of comic book shop guys and Diamond that dictate how things are published. I mean, and even in my short time in working with publishers, I've had Diamond push back on how I'm drawing or what goes into the art or how things are laid out. It's not something you want to be like, thanks, Diamond. Yeah, well, then you're dependent upon a bunch of artists actually getting along, and I refuse to participate with. I won't do it with another artist because I won't. I've had too many people just not come through. So makes a lot of sense, but you know, better in theory than practice, probably. It would need a publisher. I just can't see four separate artists being on the same page consistently. Statistically speaking, I just don't see how that's possible. I mean, Image Comics with those guys couldn't get all their shit out on time. You know, when they were selling millions of copies per issue. Yeah, they would do their own stuff. And I agree with you, it's a good idea. The reality of a bunch of people working remotely to work on their own stuff, you know, who's going to be the publisher, who's going to be the editor, who's going to make sure people are turning their shit in on time, you know, the odds of that working out. You know, when something doesn't work out for publishers, they just go to backup materials, second string people. You know, they have a pool. If you're dependent upon three other people and two of them decide not to do their shit that month because they just didn't do it, then what? Plus, you can't kickstart monthly magazines or monthly publications. There's just not enough money. Unless they're digital, but certainly not physically printed. So, cool idea. I think the format of Shonen Jump is amazing. I wish something like that existed here, you know, from major publishers. So, I think your idea is sound. The problem is artists. You know, it's the problem. We're finicky, right? Yeah, I get that, you know. Do 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 do. Then you gotta trust that those artists are gonna get paid. You know, and there's one thing I've learned when it comes to money. I don't trust someone else to hold my money for me. I learned that one with Josh. It's tough to get paid after sales, man. It's very difficult. Cliffhanger wasn't really a downfall. Jim Lee sold Wildstorm to Image, so they were trying to kind of give itself an Image 2.0 with Cliffhanger, but you know, like there's only so. I mean, it was always a. Even when it came out, I was like, how long will they even ever ship anything? You know, like the amount of effort being put into each book. Wonder how long that'll be. You know, I mean, the only one that produced on time and consistently was Alberto Ramos. That being said, the later issues of Crimson look like shit compared to the first issue, so I don't know if that was a good thing. I think the East should have committed to like 6 issue arcs for their books, you know, and just called it season one. But like, that's like looking back 20 years, you know. Even at the time, I remember saying it could be kind of like, you know, you just do like 6 issues. And people are like, that won't, no one will stick on if it's only 6 issues. I'm like, why? The Dark Knight Returns was only 4. Like, so I think they should have had a clear issue goal versus trying to start a whole nother imprint. But then he sold Wildstorm to DC, so, you know, they own their shit, but all that kind of went away, you know. Then they kept trying to produce those cliffhanger books like High Roads and shit like that with other artists, and it wasn't quite the same thing, you know. I think the person who's kind of doing what that model is Mark Malloy, right? Like working with some of the top tier artists to develop projects that will work also in ancillary media. So he's probably come close to making that idea work, you know. And clearly the comics had a lot of love from people because I mean you don't get the Battle Chasers game funded, you know, without people giving a shit, you know. I know, right? Yeah, he's a superstar. I mean, I backed Battle Chasers, you know, and I think the game's looking amazing. I hope it's not too fucking difficult to play. I mean, I want some challenge, but I hope they don't make it super fucking hard. Or give us the ability to modify difficulty settings. I just think they're going to... They have a small team, right? So they can't produce as much content as Diablo. You know, if it was somewhere between Diablo and Final Fantasy, you know, I'll be happy. But I know they were saying it's going to be really hard. That's what... I don't know. I don't want a roguelite. I don't want Battle Chase to turn into a roguelite, you know? Blizzard stole his art. No, they're both influenced by Warhammer. You know, Joe Mad somewhere between Warhammer and Capcom. You could see their earlier Capcom influence, and then around the mid 2000s, you know, more Warhammer stuff got kind of worked in when he was working on Dragon Kind and shit like that. So they both sort of play off Warhammer and Capcom. You know. And now you sort of have this like fantasy style, right? That they're both kind of doing. So I mean, I was drawing from Darksiders or Darkstalkers concept art before there was a, you know, before there was a Battle Chasers. Battle Chasers turn-based. Yep! Turn-based, motherfucker! Can't wait. Only Kickstarter can do turn-based games now, right? It's ridiculous. Yeah, dude, it's looking really good. The game's looking better than I thought it would look. So, and I'm very happy with the way it looks, the way it animates. I just hope it's fun, you know? Pretty isn't going to be enough. Needs to be fun to play. And my only fear is that Joe Mad's such a hardcore gamer guy that, they might cater to... I don't want it nerfed, but I don't need it to be Bloodborne, you know? And that play balance is something Blizzard fucking excels at. Can't argue with that. Sometimes that difficulty, like I said, is added because there's not a ton of content. So if you ratchet up the difficulty, you don't have to have as much content because only so much to go around. So we'll see. I like old school Capcom. Everything up to about Street Fighter or Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I don't really care for modern Capcom. Like I didn't like Marvel vs. Superheroes 3, you know? I like Power Stone 2. I don't like the realistic, like when they had Art Grim did that. When he did the Darkstalkers thing, not my thing. But yeah, like Marvel versus Capcom or Marvel superheroes, that's my shit. Even Children of the Atom. Yeah, stuff's dope. So no doubt. I mean, that's. I mean, what he was like 18, 19 when it came out. So yeah. But that's why we were buying his stuff because it was like, oh, it's fucking looks like game stuff. First time I really saw gaming influence someone's art before was Joe Mad stuff, in modern American comics. Oh, time is it? 20 more minutes. See if we can get this boot done. Man, as a kid, I didn't give a shit about Mortal Kombat. I thought Mortal Kombat 2 looked cool, but it still moved like shit compared to Super Street Fighter. Half my friends hated Street Fighter. It's like a cartoon. I'm like, yeah, that's what's fucking amazing about it. And the first time I saw Darkstalkers, I was like, the art design, the look of it, I was like, this is amazing. You know. And then Street Fighter Alpha was like the first time I was like, I felt like I was playing an anime. And then Street Fighter 3 comes out, and it's just like, holy shit. You know? and it culminates with Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And then it's over. Even Red Earth is fucking awesome, even though it's essentially just a boss battle game. Um, just weren't many CPS3 games. Nope. But I never gave a shit about the Infinity Stones until I played Marvel Superheroes. I'm one of the few. I just can't stand Marvel Capcom 3. I don't like the look of it. I don't give a shit. I don't like the bada boom fonts. I don't like the 3D-ness of it. I just don't care. You know, if it looked and played more like Guilty Gear Xrd, Guilty Gear Xrd is the first 3D game that emulates the 2D thing perfectly. Um, I think Street Fighter 4 looks cool, the engine of it, but if I could still pick Street Fighter, if I had my choice, I'd still think Street Fighter. I'm sorry, Street Fighter 5. 4 is, yeah. Um, but Xrd is fucking pretty amazing looking. Problem is, I don't give a shit for the combat. Yeah, they're just harder to make. And I get it. I think you can make a 3D game that looks and plays like a 2D game. So both worlds are met. Even and Xrd does it. I mean, you even get the frame limitations and stuff. Doesn't have that floaty jump feel. So I'm not against 3D. I just feel that just because it's 3D doesn't mean it needs to be realistic. And realism is not why I want Street Fighter. You know what I mean? Like, why can't Marvel vs. Capcom 4 look like Darksiders? Why? Why not? Or a Darkstalkers skins could come out for Street Fighter. You could just put Darkstalkers characters in fucking Street Fighter 5. You know? They don't even need to make a whole game. But they don't, you know? Yeah, I think you're right. You know? They haven't made one game that's blown me away visually since the Beautiful Joe days. You know? So. Luckily, there's plenty of people who grew up with that stuff that they'll make their own eventually. Their own version of it. Do I collect art or art books? I have all the art books I've ever wanted. So, I mean, I have all the old Capcom stuff. I like the original editions. Like I have the Die Hard Darkstalkers game book. I have all the art of stuff that I've ever wanted. You know, so I don't buy a whole lot these days. Every now and then I'll get something. Something will come by. You know, but a problem is a lot of art these days is like the art books are they're not really art books. You know, like they're the CGI rendered fucking books. And I just want to see the pencil sketches and shit like that. I did get the Dark Knight Returns uh, Artist Master Edition or whatever that is. It's like $300. That was my birthday present to me, and that's amazing. Why there isn't one for Battle Chasers, I don't know. You know? But I have like the black and white Spawn Compendium, and yeah, that's too much. The books were too much. You could just go to a bin somewhere and find them. You know? The problem is a lot of movies and stuff these days are all done. All the art's like kit bashing, right? Where they just take a photo of a person and do super high render. You know, like there's no marker drawings or little sketches everywhere and tiny paintings. It's it's very bleh. I said it a year ago when it was first shown off. I said Overwatch is the first time I have seen. It's like the first time I saw Street Fighter 2. It's the new Street Fighter 2. These are world warriors. They have unique, over the top costumes. They identify with the part of the world. They're in competition with one another. It is the new Street Fighter. Street Fighter is not the new Street Fighter. This is. That was what I said after BlizzCon last year on the podcast. And I stand by that statement. I believe it is going to be bigger than that game, that property. That property is bigger than a first person shooter. If they came out with a CG movie for that, it'll make, 500 million worldwide easy, if not more, you know? If anyone can branch out with their own video game, if they want their own comic book like universe plus a video game movie, just come up with a CG film, Overwatch. Fuck live action. Um, but take forever, right? Animation takes forever. It'd be 4 years before they'd get it out. And whereas Capcom went and tried to DLC their entire fucking game. Yeah. Should have just been an animated film, bro. You know? Like Moana. Just Warcraft. Fucking dumb live action. Yeah. I mean, the script was, I would have not focused on world building. I would have focused on a story. It should have been more like I hate to say like a buddy cop movie, but it really should. It should have been more like the orc has to team up with the human and they hate one another. Kind of like Enemy Mine meets, like, you know, Iron Man having to team up with Captain America. And, I don't know. That's a lack of a better explanation, but all this world building and giant, this Malfeth does this gobbledygook and gets the stone, and it's like, I don't fucking give a shit, you know? Needed more Guardians of the Galaxy style shit versus Lord of the Rings. More fun, man. Warcraft's fun. It's serious. You can die, you know, but it's fun. The movie just took itself too fucking seriously. Yeah, and they can keep the color. They didn't have to get rid of all the color, and just trying to be a big Hollywood movie. Kind of ho hum. But China saved its ass. China saved that movie. Hopefully, China doesn't. I mean, China didn't bail out Turtles too, so thank God. And hopefully they don't bail out Transformers. But every year they do. So I don't see Warcraft as Tolkien, though. I see it more like I said, somewhere between Guardians of the Galaxy and I guess Lord of the Rings in that it's fantasy, but you know, I was gonna say Brave, but they fucked that movie up. Could have been a fun. It should be as serious as Iron Man 1. That's what I'm trying to say. It shouldn't be any more serious than Iron Man 1. Not gag jokes like the Smurfs where they're all farting and burping and pissing and that kind of bullshit. Who knows? This new Thor movie might end up actually accomplishing that goal. Like I always like The Incredibles is a good example in terms of the danger. People can die. People can die. But we're not pandering to 4-year-olds as well, right? What time is it? Oh, it's about that time, folks. So zoom out. All right. So tomorrow I got the background and the white highlights. He needs white highlights on his boots and all this background shit. Um, I'll probably do the white highlights first and then let it dry and then do the background. It's too big to capture when you zoom out. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you tomorrow. Peace, everybody.